Chapter 4, The Writings of Aristolus. This is an account of the coming of certain wise strangers to the sea-girt realm of Britain, taken from the books of Britain and rewritten into the appendices to the Bronze Book, this being the part safeguarded by Roland Gasson. After our Lord died, having been hung on the cross outside the city walls of Jerusalem, Joseph of Arimathea took Mary, the mother of Jesus, into his home until John could make suitable arrangements. Then he was called guardian of the lady, which title became confused in Britain with that of guardian of the sacred vessel. Aristolus wrote these things in the sacred island, and this is his prayer. In silence, hands lifted up, heart humbled, and mind stilled, your servant presumes to come into your presence. Great understanding one, grant me the abounding joy of union with your spirit. Grant that all my deeds be in harmony with the great law, and that I learn to acquire wisdom so I may illuminate the hearts of men. Let me embrace your spirit in full knowledge of my twofold nature. Guide my feet towards the great law by which all seekers find the light. As long as my body and spirit remain together, so long will I preach to men, seeking always to strengthen a response in their hearts. Bless me with sweetness of speech and harmony of voice. Help me keep from the grip of greed and from the loud-mouthed futilities and frivolities of illiterate men. Spare me the sad companionship of the sanctimonious ones. God of my heart, son of my life, keeper of my circle of content, fill this place with the divine emanations from your being. Attune with the circle of truth and the circle of light. Make me receptive to the lessons and inspirations of life. Joseph, our father in faith, come across the storm-tossed seas to the place called Balg with, and from thence to Tashain, where he met the envoy of the king, who was sorely troubled. For the chief of all Druthan, called Trautus, was away at the meeting place of his god, where he came in a wondrous way every 19 years. There the ceremony lasted 3 moons. When Trautus returned, he met Joseph at the place now called Hen Mehu, because of the strange tree that grows there. The Druthan held a feast of welcome in the place called Nematon, which is below the great hill. The chief of all Druthan washed his face, his hands, and his feet. Then a white goat was led out and sacrificed on a 4-horned altar. Trautus washed his hands again and made an offering of salted barley cakes and gave some to Joseph, called Iliad by the people here. Then the goat's thighs were burnt on the altar, while a lesser priest mixed the sacrificial blood with water and black wine. Then barley cakes and a chalice containing the blood, wine, and water were passed through 3 sacred horns before being given to the chiefs present. Then youths danced around the fire over the sacrificial pit. Then priests of a lower order prepared tables for a feast, while the common people sat around on logs made smooth at the top. The sacrificial beast, having been first offered to the gods of this place, was eaten by the common folk, all except the liver, which, being the seat of blood and life, was kept for the diviners. These found that the right wing of the liver was broken, so they prophesied that no enemy would enter the land. Now the king called together a great conclave of the people, and the Druthan were there. The king said to our father, "Speak now before the people. Tell us your ways, and we will judge whether they be worthy." Joseph spoke a tongue understandable to these people, but he spoke slowly and not after their fashion. Our father said, "As the light came first and called the eye into being to see it, so it is with God, who is the already existing light. The heart does not create the thought, but the thought produced the heart. This so it could manifest, for the heart is created to serve thought in the world of effects. The world of causes lies in another kingdom." The Druthan said, "The light we know and have, these things are not strange to us. All light comes from an original crystal, which is always virgin, and we say the behavior of light is the foreordained symbol of man, to man." Joseph, our father, said, I have not come to batter down your house of hope, for it has many pleasing features, even as ours. So let us not disagree, but take the best from both, and disregarding what is less good, fashion something of value to all. Let us weigh one thing against the other, rejecting that which less clearly shows the way. The king said to the chief of Aldruthin, "Do we not have the source of light in our grail egg?" The Druthin replied, "The sun shines not, and the Usirs, servants of light, will not come without the presence of the greater gleamer, which provides their sustenance. There can be no incarnation of light on earth unless there be behind it a greater light." All right. Joseph said, "When I was shipbound, I had a vision of God. The eyes of my spirit were opened, and I saw him in all his glory. Then I understood that there was no difference between the nature of his spirit and the spirits of men, only his way. His was an infinitely greater purity. This I knew for sure. God and man are of the one essence. I knew we are all rays of the one light, sparks from the one flame. Yet the flame is not the fire, for what flame can call itself into being?" Joseph said, "If fire can be contained in wood to leap forth when two pieces are heated through rubbing together, yet remain hidden within the wood, then surely it can be so with the soul within man." The chief of Aldruthin said, "Often have I thought of this. All men are alike in nature, and all aspire to the same goal. All seek to make the same journey's end. Only the route differs. Therefore, let us not argue whether men should follow your road or mine, but find between us a path better than either." One priest said, "What of the worlds within the ever-moving circles?" Joseph replied, "The hidden worlds are numbered as sands on the seashore. If a man concerns himself with many things, he benefits none and derives no benefit himself. Let us concern ourselves with this world first." The Druthin said, "What can change the natures of men? For these are fixed by the gods." Joseph answered, "All things can be changed, but not always for the better. Change and life are inseparable." Joseph went on to say, "Because you are folk who work the land, bringing it fruitfulness, you are not to be despised. Let the newcomers with their armed might say as they will, you are workers with God. Were not the sons of God also called the sons of the plow? Did they not fight against the sons of men, who were hunters, eating raw flesh like the beasts and worshipping serpents, which crawl on their bellies? Always there have been some who worship things of insensitive wood and stone, groveling in the dust at their feet, and those who worship the highest they can see, the sun and the stars. Others reach out even beyond these." One of the Druthin asked, "What know you of the eye of God in men?" Joseph replied, "What is written in the heart is the eye of God in men. This sees everything. Knowing right from wrong, it puts things in instant perspective. Men in whom this eye is closed are little better than the beasts of the field and forest. I come as one who opens the eye of such as these." In the beginning, the king had listened in silence and was tolerant because he felt he could indulge these strangers. Now, as he saw that their teachings might prevail, he became angry and unreasonable, as it happens in instances such as these. He said, "Who gives you authority to speak in this manner? Who sent you, and do you come to spy on us? To whom do you make report?" Joseph said, "Know this, great king, I am a servant of the great God of light. I am sent in order to build a church here where it will serve your people well. I will establish a place of light unto them. I come to teach the perfect commandments. Ask among your own about me, for I am not unknown to them. I have no human teacher from whom I learned the wisdom from whence I got these things. I lived in the light of Christ, but learned tardily. Then I had a message from God himself. Go preach to those who dwell at the edge of the earth." The king said, "How comes it that these things have been revealed to you, while the same God who reigns here has not revealed them to us, even though we were the lords of this land? Are you a man of significance this side of the wide waters?" Joseph answered, "Those who are established in the God of light need no mentors, and they take pride in their insignificance. For it is said, the first shall be the last, and the last first. The lowly shall be raised up, and the haughty cast down. We do not seek after gold or worthy possessions. worldly possessions. Of myself I have no power, but I have power from God. It is God who commands, and it is he who makes the true man of God. There was much talking and long discourses of the nature of God, and the Druthan challenged Joseph to produce him, saying, "Though you decry our images, yet we do have likenesses of our gods, while you lack even these. Your words are mere puffs of wind." These things and more were said, and the Druthan believed, but tardily. Then at the midsummer festival, the chief of all the Druthan collapsed on the processional walk, denying himself the reviving draught prepared by Islis, his daughter. He died in the arms of Joseph, our father. It was he who received the moon chalice and the light of Britain. The Druthan held the secrets of the great temple of the stars, and theirs was the royal isle in the kingdom of Kevindid.